got Mike here. So a nice short day in the market right before 4th of July. And by the way, I hope everybody has a great 4th tomorrow, like I plan on having with my family. But, you know, today was EV Mania, and it was a perfect kind of day for it because very, very low volume. So when there's very low volume, it doesn't take much to push the stock up or down. And it wasn't just Tesla, it was all EVs. And I'll show you what I'm talking about and everything. But also something, you know, smart money's pulling out of something else, or big money. They're dropping their longs on this as well, which shouldn't surprise you, which actually, I guess that'd be a tailwind for the market, which means that helps push it up and stuff. But also something else, you guys who are, if there's people out there that are really, you consider yourself a perma bear, or you're really just rooting for the market to really push down hard or whatever, I'll show you a few things that you ought to be rooting for, actually. And see, some of you getting upset about it, but you actually should be rooting for this, because this is what allows the market to move a little more freely and stuff. But I did want to start off with, I saw this today, it just made me laugh. So, I mean, I hope it makes you laugh too. But this is talking about short sellers so far in 2022. And so just, I don't know, I had a good chuckle of it. So, you know, hopefully you do too, but just take a look at it.
Going to be a very good year. Very good. This is the worst. I declare bankruptcy! I am running away from my responsibilities. What is happening? Oh, God, what is happening? Oh, my life!
And so let us know down in the comments if you're one of those folks and stuff, but I just got a great laugh out of that. Now, something else you see happen, remember, it's a year of first, right? So what are we seeing also? The first time this has ever happened when it comes to the U.S. Aggregate Bond Index, longest drawdown in history, right, by a country mile. So far, it's 36 months and counting. And you can see max drawdown during the period of months and everything. The start of the drawdown was August 20th. So this just keeps on moving down, as you can see. So, you know, no shocker there. And I told you, when it comes to manufacturing data, the market does not care. Because, you know, when you usually hit this level, usually right before a recession or going into a recession. The only time that didn't happen was 95, 96. And so maybe we're following that playbook. But again, this data is a hot mess. Manufacturing data is just a hot mess. But again, it's all about the services industry. I'm assuming that's what it is, because this market is definitely ignoring a whole lot of stuff right now, okay? Now, what are hedge funds also cutting here? They're cutting the dollar longs, right? You can see right there, this is the Bloomberg Dollar Spot Index there, the line there, and then, of course, the leverage funds net dollar positioning as of 6/27/2023. You can see that has just been going down and falling off a cliff right now. And, of course, the weaker the dollar gets, the stronger the stocks are going to get. That's why you're seeing stocks do what they're doing when the dollar peaked last year. And guys, before we continue, if you're getting anything out of this, please hit that thumbs up down there. I really appreciate it. And if you like the material here and the videos, think about subscribing. And so that leads me into something I was going to talk about, because I was reading the comments and stuff and just doing some research today. And understand, if you want the stock market to go down and really do, whether it's for a pullback to get in, or you just want a really big draw down the market and stuff, then the kind of stuff you want to see is what's actually happening right now. Okay, so what do you see today? Fear and greed index at 85. That's extreme greed, right? I mean, it's pretty crazy to see it. I'm actually rooting if we get to 100. Honestly, I just want to see it get to 100. I've never seen it get to 100. If you have, let me know. I just don't remember ever doing that. But, you know, I showed you this once before, but you can see right here, I mean, this is the fear and greed index, and then S&P 500 labeled over this and stuff. And you rarely see in the last 2 years, let's go above 75. So when you go above 75, you know, you're doing something. Right now we're 85. But when you look at it, when you hit above 75, you get a pullback, right? You get either a nice sell-off, big sell-off, whatever you want to call it. But every time it happens, within a week or two, and remember last time I told you when we got above 80, I did a video and boom, what happened? We ended up getting a pullback. So, I mean, that's the norm. That's what usually happens. Right now the market's kind of like, yeah, F that. Not going to do it, whatever, and it keeps pushing. And so, you know, we'll see what happens is if the market keeps broadening out and everything like that, if this keeps pushing up. But usually, I mean, once you get over 70, it's an alarm bells going off. So just keep that in mind. Again, we're at 85 now. So, and the last time we crossed 75 was just a couple weeks ago, and we did a slight pullback, but nothing much into it, because why? You're going into this bullish end of quarter, and then you got July coming up, which I've showed you, usually bullish for stock and stuff. So you could definitely see this going higher, even though you should have an alarm bells going off. What's the other thing you want to see? Puts disappearing, bearishness disappearing. I always shows you a lot of bears, permanent bears just flipping, right? And I went through, and this is something when I do the morning news briefs for them. This is June 20th, right, to show you on this latest pullback. And I said, you know, I do the max pain. I'm looking at puts and calls, and usually the put call ratio is extremely high, way more puts than calls, right, over the last 12 months or whatever. And all of a sudden I was like, wow, you know, I'm seeing an equal amount of puts and calls for the first time in a long time. And then if we scroll up, you'll see the same thing. Day after day, this is what I'm seeing. And it's the longest stretch I've seen like that in a very, very long time, okay? And of course, when this happens, and of course, if you're going through this as well, you can look at that fear and greed index. I put that in there as well. But, you know, you can see, and there's another day of equal puts and calls. And so, you know, what happened? Well, what happened was we end up going, oh, look, the market sold off. So that's what happened, because a bunch of bearishness disappeared. Greed, FOMO, everything starts taking over, and those bears start piling in, right? And so again, that's what you want, okay? And so if you want to see a good pullback, you want the bearishness to disappear, the greed, just everything, everybody's piling in, everything, and then that's when you'll normally get that to happen, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, Tesla, huge day today, up 7% off of good news. I told you deliveries were coming out on Sunday and stuff, and I said, look, if call buying presumes, Tesla's gonna roar, right? And so, of course, you can see here's the chart right here, another gap to fill right there. So huge gap up, huge move. Not just Tesla though, okay? So this ain't a Tesla story in a way. It's great news for them. They got a bunch of different news, which one is right here. You can see Tesla and BYD post record sales, and so BYD is the leading one because theirs aren't fully EV and stuff. They have hybrid vehicles, but again, that's the one Warren Buffett owns and stuff. And so they're big over there. But also Rivian, right? They ended up exceeding expectations on their quarterly production. And of course, what else did Tesla get? Kentucky mandates Tesla charging plug for the state-backed charging stations. So again, you know, they're the creme de la creme of chargers. But, you know, the calls immediately this morning, I mean, this is right at open, happening before open actually, just pouring in, just millions of dollars worth of calls and stuff coming in at 270, 280, 290 strikes and stuff. And so anywhere from July to August 4th was the big days. You even have some pushed out to 2024. And you can see right here is another one. These are the most active stock options. Obviously, SPY is always usually number one. But even you had ChargePoint, which is crazy to me to see ChargePoint up there. But then you see Tesla as well and stuff. And then there was Rivian, right? Rivian, this stock right here. Again, I drew this out for you. I told you, this is it. Draw a trend line across, rounding bottom, bam, it breaks. You get a bust out and everything. And so let me know if you're in Rivian and stuff, because I'm going to look at this one kind of carefully, because the stock chart's funny to me. But, you know, if you're getting in on this, have fun. I never chase a stock like that. I mean, that thing go to the moon all at once. There's no way I'm chasing that stock. I'll wait for a pullback. If it decides it wants to pull back and this market wants to actually come back to some kind of reality, that'd be good. But, you know, you can see the 200 is going to hit right around 21. It is above the 50. And I'll even put the 100 in there. But what's amazing to me, I was curious, are any of you guys, were you buying in the 170 and 180s? I mean, this is literally used to be a $180 stock. I mean, it's another one of those examples of an EV bubble, right? Down 94% at one point in time. Like, that is amazing. From 180 to $11 a share. And I'm just curious, not making fun of anybody or anything else, just curious in the comments, did you hold on? Did you sell? Did you dollar cost average all the way down? Because that's a long way to dollar cost average. Or did you just get out of there and now you're back in or something? So, and I actually see a lot of Rivian trucks in my area, which is kind of interesting. I mean, there's a lot of camping things going down this area. Let me know how it looks in your area. But again, it's above its 50. It's above its 100. All right, it's above that trend line. Again, it's got that gap, massive gap, and left behind. And so we'll see what happens on this one. But again, what was pushing this one? What's been going on the last 3 days? Rivian call options, baby. I mean, they've just been piling into these Rivian call options. So again, that's what drives the market, especially these stocks. And so when that's happening, yep, it's going up and up and up. As I'm saying, it might not pull back until it hits the 200. It might just blow right through the 200. We'll have to see. Depends on, you know, the amount of manipulation with the options market and see how they do it. Now, Meta. This is another interesting one. I mean, obviously ain't touched that 50 in 2023 so far, that 50-day moving average. Still just sitting there consolidating, right? Either for a big move up, big move down. But I'll say when it hits 300, that's going to be the real wall that it's going to test. I mean, that is a boatload. This is the weekly, but this is going to be a boatload of resistance at 300. So will they push it up there? You know, put in the comments if you think they will. Wouldn't surprise me a bit at all to see that. But, you know, that's going to be the real next test for Meta, as you know, if this market continues to move up, the Magnificent Seven, which is one of them, continues to be pushed up and stuff. So we'll have to see. Again, if the market starts to broaden out, do these start to lose steam then, right? Because people are so far up in these names and stuff. We'll have to see, and especially with all those graveyard of gaps that left below it. But you know, we'll have to see on that one. Now, AMD again, to me, is one of the most constructive charts out there because moving averages actually look normal on it. They aren't going parabolic. It's bounced off of 50 multiple times. You know, had a good pullback of 20%. Now we talked about it's going to move through that volume gap, which it continues to move through until probably 118 till you finally hit some kind of resistance on it. And again, I mean, it's a semiconductor. They're still hot. People are still piling into them. And when you look at, you know, today, even though it was a very short day, you can see I was surprised to see consumer discretionary doing so well, but it was, you know, real estate, even utilities had a very good day. Financials, I think all of the banks were up, right? And so that's what part of this rotation people were talking about, right? Because what are the beaten down sectors? What does big money like to do? We're starting a new quarter, things like that. And so, and you can see obviously what's on the bottom. That's when you got tech and healthcare just can't seem to buy a bid. So watch out for that one maybe. But yeah, consumer discretionary, things we don't need, had a good day. Watch out for energy. A lot of people are talking about energy. It's getting a lot of talk. You know, I see it as a pennant. Some people don't see it that way. But again, it's either going to bust up into this volume gap right here as it moves up. And if it goes below that, I mean, I think people have been waiting for this to crater and crater because of, you know, where people feel the economy is. It's slowing and everything. And the other thing is when you got the Saudis cutting production and the price still don't really move up any, you're kind of going, interesting. So is it the price basically being led by the fact that people are worried that not only here, but a global slowdown is obviously taking place and stuff. And so if it is, that's not good for oil. That's why they keep cutting production and everything. But, you know, I don't know. I'm not a big oil person, so I know some of you guys are. So put what you think and everything. Because again, you know, Oxy, what happened to that one? It hit the magic number. Warren Buffett piled into it. You know, it's moving a little bit up. I think the chart was like garbage to me because all I see really is you got all these lower highs coming all the way down. Again, though, the lower lows are hanging in there, so it could break, right? People like to follow Warren. And if we do get a bump in summer price and stuff, we'll see. It's not good for inflation, but that would take a long time to get into the inflation numbers. But it would be good for the market in general, especially the S&P, right? Because those are the stocks that have been kind of just pulling down along with the bank stocks on the S&P. And so, again, we'll watch the equal-weighted S&P, the equal-weighted QQQ, right? Watch small caps. Again, they were up a little bit today, but 189 is the magic number, right? And so, you know, I mean, for me, when you're looking at this, because, I mean, anytime I see that fear and greed index, I'm telling you, it's like a trip hammer. Anytime you see it going this crazy and the market just ignoring everything around it, and I showed you yesterday, you know, the hedges that smart money's taking off, big money, all that stuff. That's when you get worried, okay? When you start seeing all that happening and complacency starts happening, when you're sitting here at rates we ain't seen in 15 years, all kinds of other stuff happening out there, you start to kind of go, okay, I got you. I mean, and, you know, but hey, people are buying into NVIDIA and Steel and Microsoft and Apple and everything else, you know, and I didn't even talk about Apple today because obviously they had a setback on their headsets and everything because they have a production issue for next year, but nobody cares. Like what's, you know, because here's the truth. The problem with kind of trying to judge Apple or Apple being held accountable is they don't really give guidance. They're smart. They're like, who cares? We don't have to give guidance. We're the king of the stock market, right? If you don't like it, sell the stock, which nobody's going to do, right? And so when they come out today, because what they do, nobody knows what the guidance is as far as the headsets. They're all over the place. Some people are saying 150,000. Some people are saying $1 million. You know, and that's a big difference when you're charging $3,500 per headset, right? So 3,500 times 600,000. If it was $1 million versus they can produce 400,000. All the numbers they put out today, but nobody knows, so you can't judge them, right? There's no bar you can set for Apple. You just go, good job, Apple. Ooh, keep buying. You know, I mean, and a lot of people put raise the price target like 220, 230, 240. You know, Tesla. I love these people. They come out today and they upgrade Tesla's price target. Who was it? J.P. Morgan or Morgan Stanley? They upgrade the price target from like $100 to $120. I'm like, why even bother? I mean, why even bother? That makes no sense to me. Why even bother with that? That's still one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. But they, you know, that's the way they roll. I can definitely, I think a lot of people are picking like the first half of July to be strong, and then maybe you see it wane off. But it's just one of those things, like if the Magnificent Seven even trades sideways or down some, the others are going to have to, a lot of money's going to roll into the other stocks to pick it up, right? So that's what we just gotta wait and see. Like I told them, I said, I can't wait to see how high the fear and greed index goes and how far they push the top 10 stocks, top weighted stocks up. Like how far will they go, right? And so, you know, that's what we'll have to see. So anyway, guys, hope you guys have a great 4th of July. If you got anything out of this, please hit that like, subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on July 5th. All right? So have a good one. Be safe.